Welcome to the show. We are halfway through the Summer League season now in basketball and should probably stop being surprised by all the surprises every week. South Dakota State may be emerging toward the top for the men right now, maybe. Nobody really taking charge in the women's race. We'll take a look at all the latest upsets and toss-ups in basketball. Track and field coming up on the show as well. Fort Wayne and South Dakota State hosting indoor meets over the weekend. We'll check out some of the results. And a story from Vermilion on a program at the University of South Dakota where current coach and former Olympian Derek Miles keeps turning out some of the best in the Midwest and in the nation in the pole vault. Some news and notes this week. Summer League tennis teams have started their seasons, and Mayu Sato of Fort Wayne is the first Player of the Week winner. The sophomore from Japan opened the season with 2 singles and 2 doubles victories. Fort Wayne has the men's Player of the Week too. Andres Cobos is a senior from Guatemala. He went 3-0 in singles and doubles this week as well. Western Illinois has a new volleyball coach on duty this week. Kelly Richardson was an assistant at Texas Arlington last year. She was the head coach at Southwest Baptist University in Missouri for 7 seasons before that. And softball season starts next week. North Dakota State has won the last 3 regular season championships, and the Bison are picked to do it again in the preseason poll of the league's head coaches. NDSU with 6 of the 7 first-place votes, South Dakota with the other first-place vote, and Omaha squeezed in between those two. All 7 league teams get going in tournaments starting next week. Summit League play will get started in mid-March, and North Dakota State will host the league championship tournament coming up in May. Well, coming up next, highlights from another wild week in men's basketball and a visit with Obi Emegano. He came to the United States as a kid after his father won an immigration lottery, and he is right at home now in Oklahoma and with his teammates at Oral Roberts.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health, your Heartland Chevy team dealers, and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Welcome back. Now to men's basketball and a quick peek into the world of one of the leading scorers in the league right now. He's a young man who has gone from Africa to Oklahoma and become a star at Oral Roberts. Obi Emegano is putting in 17 points a game right now. That's 3rd best in the Summit League. And this is his 3rd season in the league, but just his 2nd at Oral Roberts. Emegano played his freshman year at Western Illinois and was named to the league's all-newcomer team in 2012. He went to high school in Edmond, Oklahoma, not far from Tulsa and the campus of Oral Roberts. But ORU and a lot of other programs overlooked Emegano at the time.
I think they got caught up in the position I was playing. I was playing more of an inside position in my high school. I was the biggest guy out there. But, going to Western was the best thing for me. I learned how to, I expanded my game as a guard, learned how to play defense, and, Coach Mo really instilled a tough mindset in me, and I think that was the best thing for me.
After that freshman year at Western Illinois, Emegano wanted to get back closer to his Oklahoma home and transferred to Oral Roberts. A move of more than 500 miles. But that's nowhere near the journey he made as a child when his family made the move from the African nation of Nigeria to the United States.
My dad won a lottery ticket. We won the lottery, but it was a ticket. It's not money, obviously. But he won a ticket, and he came here and worked hard and moved the rest of our family down about a year later.
Well, that lottery ticket was an immigration visa granted to Emegano's father through a government program designed to bring families to America. So in 1996, Obi found himself in the middle of Oklahoma in late October.
I remember being really cold. We came in the winter, and my whole family were in shorts and t-shirts, and we got off the plane and it was snowing and we didn't know what it was. I'm the youngest of 4, so we're all asking, what is this? My parents explained to us it's snow. We were just really cold, and we got bundled up with our family and got coats and sweats and things like that and kept it moving.
And as the leader of his basketball family, Emegano has become the go-to guy for the Golden Eagles. But he says he is not all about putting up points. He would actually rather stop the other guys rather than make them stop him.
What am I doing well? I'm playing defense. I'm playing defense well, and of course it comes with scoring points, but being a leader and playing defense and being tough-minded and leading these guys, I think that's when we're really in a groove. Yeah, it's on me to score, but that's that's going to come and go. You know, you won't always score, you won't always hit shots, but you can always control your effort. You can always control how hard you play on defense, and I think that's what I try to base my game off of.
Well, Emegano leads Oral Roberts in steals as well as scoring, and he has his team toward the top of the league right now, even though the Eagles lost a couple of close ones over the weekend. Start in Denver with the Pioneers and Oral Roberts, just the fourth time ever that they have played each other. Huge first half for Donnell Henderson, 14 points in the first half. He ends up with 18, and the Eagles have a 6-point lead at the break. Obi Emegano with a jumper puts Oral Roberts ahead by 12 with 7 minutes to play, but Denver goes on a 20-1 run to end the game. Nate Engesser with 7 points in the final 7 minutes. He ends up with 18, and the Pioneers with a big-time comeback to knock off Oral Roberts, 73-66. Well, that same night, South Dakota State at home against Fort Wayne. Rough night for the visitors. First game all year, the Dons do not have at least one guy score in double figures. Steve Forbes leads them with 9 points and 7 rebounds. SDSU, meanwhile, gets out fast. Ian Tyson makes a 3, just his second of the season. Everything's going in, and the Rabbits run out to a 24-point lead at the half. Yurde Gunina comes in, bangs in a couple of threes in the second half for Fort Wayne, but the Jacks go up by 33 on a jumper by Anders Broman, and the Rabbits roll 82-53 for their 5th win in a row. Western Illinois in the middle of a tough stretch right now. The Leathernecks at home against South Dakota on Thursday. J.C. Fuller has put together 2 excellent back-to-back games for Western Illinois. Had 21 at North Dakota State last week. Tops that with 23 in this one against the Coyotes. And the Leathernecks had an 8-point lead, but Trey Norris with a jumper to tie the game at 37 with about 13 minutes to play. The Coyotes take over from there. Siku Harris with a couple of threes. He ends up with 10 off the bench for USD. And the Coyote reserves match the starters in scoring in this game, 34 for each group. South Dakota pulls away to win by 10, 68-58. Well, IUPUI has played 5 overtime games already this year, 2 of them in league play, and the latest on Thursday at home against North Dakota State. Dexter Werner with all 10 of his points in the first half, and the Bison go to the break with a 2-point lead. P.J. Boutte hits back-to-back threes for the Jags midway through the second half. The second one ties the game at 44. They go to overtime tied at 53. Lawrence Alexander with 8 of his 24 points in the extra 5 minutes, and the Bison pull it out 69-61. Second overtime loss in league play for IUPUI. But the Jags bounce back big 2 nights later against South Dakota. The Coyotes shoot 22% in the first half, 0 for 6 on threes, and IUPUI buries them early. The Jags bolt out to a 21-point lead at the half. Marcellus Barksdale with 7.6 boards. Davron Williams comes off the bench with 11 and 7 rebounds, and both teams are now 4-3 in the league after a 65-50 win for IUPUI. In Omaha, the Mavs with their only game of the weekend, taking on Denver. Omaha leads the league in scoring, and they lit it up in this one. 23 for C.J. Carter, who was taking over the league lead in scoring after that 45-point game last week. 13 points, 5 assists for Devin Patterson, who continues to lead the league in assists. Omaha shoots at 56%. They go to the free throw line 38 times, and the Mavs win this game 80-69. Beginning to wonder if Fort Wayne was going to make anything out of this season. Just 1 win in their first 6 league games. And then the Dons go and knock off North Dakota State on Saturday. Fort Wayne didn't have anybody in double figures in that South Dakota State game. The Dons had 6 in double digits in this one. 12 points, 8 rebounds for Forbes. 16 points, 5 assists for Max Landis. A.J. Jacobson had 17 to lead North Dakota State. He hits a 3 with 4 minutes to play to make it a 3-point game. But the Dons hold on, and the final 77-71, Fort Wayne over North Dakota State. And in Tulsa, 2 of the top 3 in the league going at it. Oral Roberts and South Dakota State. Cody Larson didn't start great, but he finished just fine for the Jacks. A career-high 27 for Larson. Obi Emegano with 19 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists for Oral Roberts. Tight game throughout. Biggest lead for either team is 7 points. Corey Bilberry had 15 for the Eagles. He hits a 3 to cut the South Dakota State lead to 1 with 13 seconds left. But Larson comes back, answers with a dunk, and the Jacks put it away at the free throw line. SDSU wins at Oral Roberts 76-72. Women's basketball coming up next. There are 5 teams sitting at 4-3 in the league right now after another everybody beats up on everybody else weekend.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health, your Heartland Chevy team dealers, and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Now to women's basketball. IUPUI earns 2 wins over the weekend, and the Jags are now one of 5 teams tied in the middle of the standings as we hit the middle of the Summit League season. Well, another team in that big lump in the middle of the standings is South Dakota State. The Jacks with just 1 game this week at Western Illinois. Ashley Luke with 20 points, 7 rebounds, 5 steals for the Leathernecks. But Megan Witashik with 22 points, 11 boards for South Dakota State. And the Jackrabbits get the win on the road, 74-61. It was a 2-win week for the Jaguars at IUPUI. They were at home against Denver on Thursday. Shakira Scott with 22 points and 7 rebounds to lead the way. IUPUI leads by 30 in the second half, and the Jags win it by 17 over Denver. Closest game of the week was in Fort Wayne, hosting South Dakota on Thursday. Haley Seibert with 6 threes and a season-high 31 points for the Dawns. She makes back-to-back-to-back threes in the second half to put Fort Wayne in the lead with 6 minutes to play, but the Coyotes come back. They get 15 points, 7 rebounds from Taya He-Miller, 15 and 7 from Nicole Seekamp, and hang on to win it by 1, 73-72, South Dakota. The other league leader, North Dakota State, on the road over the weekend at Omaha on Thursday. Omaha gets 19 points and 10 rebounds from Michaela Shaw, but North Dakota State leads the game the entire way. Brooke Lamar goes for 26 points, and NDSU gets the road win here, 77-60. Not so successful on Saturday, though, for NDSU. At Western Illinois, Brooke Lamar with 23 in this one to lead the Bison again. But Sophie Reichelt with the biggest double-double of her season, 24 points and 18 rebounds, and Western wallops North Dakota State 88-66. Elsewhere on Saturday, Denver puts up its second highest point total of this season. Jordan Johnston with 21 for the Pioneers. But the star of the game is Paige Bradley, 11 points and a career-high 14 assists. And the Pioneers win at Fort Wayne 82-75. And back to Indianapolis, IUPUI stays hot by blowing out South Dakota. The Jags force 21 turnovers and hold the Coyotes to 33% shooting. Kelsey Bird with 16 for IUPUI. Akila Sims off the bench with 17 points and 5 rebounds. And the Jags take down the Yotes 68-43. Coming up next, South Dakota State hosting an indoor track and field meet for the first time in 3 decades. NDSU and USD and Omaha were there, and we'll check it out next.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health, your Heartland Chevy team dealers, and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Welcome back. Here are your Summit League track and field athletes of the week. Madison Reynolds of Oral Roberts won the 400 meters at the Mark Colligan Memorial hosted by the University of Nebraska. Reynolds ran that 400 in 53.89 seconds. That is best in the league so far this season. She also anchored the Oral Roberts winning 4x4 relay. Joey Zielinski at IUPUI is the men's athlete of the week. He set a Jaguar record in the mile with a time of 4:16.79. That is the best time in the Summit League so far this season. Well, Zielinski was running in the IPFW duels, kind of a chance to get to see how you're doing event hosted over the weekend by Fort Wayne.
I think today's meet is very unique in the fact that it's a dual meet setting, and so it's team against team, all Division I teams with Valpo, Butler, Detroit, Oakland, IUPUI. I mean, IUPUI being another conference school that we're going to see at the conference meet. So this is great. The kids really get to kind of almost a preamble to the conference meet where you're going to go against these other Division I teams event per event and then see how you match up. So I think it's really good, brings our team together, and it's a unique format. This will be the only one that we do during the indoor season. I think the girls have started out strong. They're working really hard. We are still in a phase of training. We're training at an intense level. We have conference in about 4 or 5 weeks now, and so we'll eventually taper them down, but right now we're in a really heavier work phase. And the girls are doing really well with it. They have great attitudes, so it's fun to come and coach every day. So it's nice. It's translating into improved performance here at the home meet.
Well, the IPFW women won their duel there against IUPUI, and the Dons now will be on the road for the rest of the indoor season. They will compete this Friday at the Ohio State Invitational. Well, at South Dakota State, they didn't know what an indoor home meet was for about 30 years. It had been that long since the Jackrabbits had hosted one. So it was a big deal for SDSU to be the home team in an event in Brookings over the weekend. Well, sometime in the 1980s is about as accurate as anybody could be in determining the last time South Dakota State hosted an indoor meet. So the Jacks got to break in the new Sanford Jackrabbit Athletic Complex on Saturday with their first home meet in a very long time. South Dakota and North Dakota State and Omaha and Iowa Central, the defending junior college indoor national champions, were among the 9 teams in the Invitational, which served as a reunion and a grand opening and a track and field meet all rolled into one. And there were some good early season performances. Ty Vasky-Lewin and Eric Hill of South Dakota finishing first and third in the 60-meter hurdles. South Dakota State sprinter Carly Carper wins her heat and finishes fourth overall in the 60-meter dash. USD freshman Gawain Williams winning his heat and finishing second in the finals of the men's 60. South Dakota State senior Mary Worth finally getting to jump in a home meet for the first time in her college career and winning at 5 feet 10 and a half inches. Jackrabbit junior Jeremiah Airy breaking in the triple jump lane with a leap of 48, 8 1/4 to win that event. And the excitement of 1,000 fans in the building is Alex Newmiller and North Dakota State kick it in to win the 4x400 relay. Well, SDSU will host one more meet in their new facility coming up in mid-February in the Jackrabbit Invitational. But the Jacks hit the road this weekend. They travel to Minneapolis for the Jack Johnson Invite on Friday and Saturday. Well, coming up next on Inside the Summit League, back to the track for the campus spotlight. Actually to the pole vault pit at South Dakota, and a coach who is also an Olympian who has helped build an impressive program at USD.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health, your Heartland Chevy team dealers, and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Well, we go to Vermilion this week in our campus spotlight. Jared Tell has the story on the pole vault program at the University of South Dakota. It's led by a former Olympian who keeps raising the bar to keep the Coyotes competitive on a national level.
South Dakota's track and field programs have reached new heights as of late. The men's team has tallied 3 league titles in the past 2 seasons, while the women's team finished 10th at the NCAA Indoor Championships last spring. But one group in the team has become one of the best in the nation, and it's led by one of the best in the sport's recent history. Derek Miles is currently in his 10th season coaching the pole vault at USD and has helped USD become a power in the event. Miles and the Coyotes have some new faces in the event this season, 6 out of 12 to be exact, but he's quickly seeing progress within his group.
Some of them are PRing already, so that's a good sign. But at the same time, I feel like I know what each one of them are capable of, and it's far higher than what they're doing now.
During his pole vaulting career, Miles competed at 3 Olympic competitions, starting with the 2004 Olympiad in Athens, where he finished 7th. He followed up with a 4th place finish in the 2008 Olympics in Beijing and qualified for the 2012 Games in London. Outside the Olympics, he was a 3-time USA champion, represented the USA in 6 World Championships, and won the IAAF World Athletic Championship in 2008. He retired from the sport in 2012. A native of Four Oaks, California, Miles competed for USD at the D2 level until he graduated in 1996. He left USD as a 5-time All-American in the pole vault, but also qualified for D2 national meets in the long jump, triple jump, and decathlon. Despite being in the middle of his pole vault career, Miles returned to coach the event at his alma mater and has found the sport at USD to be unwavering.
In terms of having a spot where so many people care about you and help you reach your goals and support you in whatever you're doing, whether it's coaching or competing, it's pretty rare to find. So certainly fortunate to have stumbled into South Dakota from a California kid.
While USD was successful in the event at the D2 level, the Coyotes have not only met the challenges of the D1 level, they've exceeded them. Bethany Fursick won the 2013 Division I Outdoor National title by tying the NCAA Outdoor Championships record of 14 feet 7 1/4 inches. The next spring, Emily Grove finished second at the 2014 Indoor Nationals and held the top indoor vault at the D1 level for much of the season. The men's side has seen success as well, as Kyle Balu, Kevin Saracani, and Peter Chapman all tallied league titles within the past 2 seasons. Those results have helped put USD on the map in track and field. Along with the women's team's top 10 finish in the indoor championships last year, and the recent run of league titles for the men's team, Miles himself raises the interest of potential recruits looking at competing at the D1 level.
Part of what makes Derek so unique is when you have a coach that's been to 3 Olympics, has a little bit more credibility walking in too. So he's been able to add a lot of credibility to our program when we've been out recruiting kids.
The next step for Miles is not necessarily to get the next national champion or league champion, but to elevate everyone to the point of achieving success when it matters the most. After all, track is a team sport.
You're always going to have kids that are pretty successful in your program, and what I want to do is have the whole program kind of experience that success. You know, I want to try to get as many people to the first round as I can. I want to try to get as many people in the final competing for All-Americans as I can, and obviously always pushing for a national title would be kind of exciting.
And as the competition keeps raising the bar, Miles and the Coyotes will keep finding ways to get over it. For Inside the Summit League, I'm Jared Tell.
Our thanks to Jared. Thanks to all of our member schools. Lots of basketball and other events to get out and go see this weekend. We'll see you next week on Inside the Summit League.